Row 18, plot 20.
Hey everybody, welcome to Now It's Dark. I'm Jim. Want to talk about a great movie that I just saw, The Pope's Exorcist. This just released and got to post this on Easter Sunday. How apropos. But I want to first start, before I forget, to let people know this little thing. I don't know how many people know about it or not. I'm hearing impaired, and sometimes when I watch a movie, I have issues with the sound and things. And when there's certain movies that I definitely don't want to miss things, at theaters you can go to like the little, there's usually like the concession stand, but then there's also like another little spot or like a supervisor type person you can ask for assisted hearing things, and they'll give you these headphones, and they'll either plug in older theaters into the armrest, or a lot of them they are just tuned in to the theater that you're in, like they program them so you get the audio in headphones. And I watched this movie with headphones on, and I'm really glad I did, because the score is really good, and I'm going to talk about that in a minute. The Pope's Exorcist, an hour and 43 minutes, 6.2 star rating on IMDb. This is inspired by the actual files of Father Gabriel Amorth, chief exorcist of the Vatican. The Pope's Exorcist follows Amorth and I'm probably saying that wrong, as he investigates a young boy's terrifying possession and ends up uncovering a centuries-old conspiracy the Vatican has desperately tried to keep hidden. And obviously there's probably been, what do they call that, writers, whatever, like there's probably been some exaggerations to the stories. This was directed by Julius Avery, writers Michael Petroni, Evan, Spiliotopoulos, and Ardeen McKeary. And it stars Russell Crowe as Father Gabriel Amorth, Daniel Zavetto as Father Escobar, Alex Escio as Julia, Peter D'Souza Feig plays Henry. And interesting, this is like his first feature, and I'll talk about that in a second. And his sister Amy is played by Laurel Marsden, and Laurel Marsden seemed familiar to me, and that's because she was just in the Miss Marvel television miniseries. So I was correct when I said I know I've seen her someplace before. So Peter plays Henry. So one of the things about the Exorcist genre of movies, or possession movies, I didn't get into these movies. I didn't even see The Exorcist until I was like in my 30s. So it was a subgenre of horror that I had not gone into because I didn't have an interest in Christianity and religion and things like that. So I hadn't watched those. But once I watched The Exorcist, I became very interested, and I binged anything that I could find about possession movies. And that's still the case now. So while I was apprehensive about Russell Crowe, this movie, when it was announced and the trailers started appearing, I definitely, my interest level kept getting higher and higher as we got closer to this weekend's release. My apprehension with Russell Crowe was because the last thing I saw him in was Thor: Love and Thunder, and I absolutely hated that. That's probably one of my least favorite Marvel movies. But in this movie, I really liked him, Russell Crowe, and he plays like an eccentric kind of character. I think some people may be bothered by in one-liners and jokes that may seem inconsistent with the tone, but it's not a spoiler, but my explanation as to why he is that way, his character, is because he says at one point in the movie that the devil doesn't like jokes. So I think because he's a very experienced exorcist, that has become like a part of him on the daily. So, like, maybe almost a defense mechanism. Like, he cracks jokes to see where people are because he's been through, you know, a lifetime's worth of experience doing the Exorcist or the exorcisms. So, yeah. Let's see. So the boy Henry, played by what did I say his name was? It is Peter D'Souza Feig Honey. This was his first feature film, and really interesting that he got this role because it's pretty intense, and he does a great job. It's the story itself. On the surface is a very basic possession film where there's a single mother and two kids. Father had died. They move to a location that may or may not be haunted or has attachments to it. In this case, it happens to be the Abbey, which is a part of the Vatican lore. They're in Spain. They are American citizens, but they're in Spain. That doesn't really get explained. But he plays a real creepy, possessed kid. And there are like some CGI effects along with some practical effects with like the appearance, like possessed people always end up having like etched letters on their skin at some point, or scarring, or like skin color changes, and like vomiting and things like that. So all like the standard possession stuff goes in there, but then there's like the bigger story, which is where the Russell Crowe's character kind of goes in. Oh, also, and then there's always like that secondary priest that's very young and inexperienced, and of course this has that as well. And either by the end of the film, they're typically like brought up to demon fighting level. They level up throughout the movie. So all of the standard stuff happens, but then there's like this underlying Da Vinci Code type mystery that Russell Crowe's character deciphers all of these things that points to a bigger Vatican conspiracy. The Pope, I don't think I mentioned, he was played by Franco Nero, and he's actually recognizable. He's been in like 200 something movies on here. Everything from John Wick Chapter 2, Die Hard 2, to Django Unchained, to Django, blah, 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 blah. But yeah, like a whole bunch of stuff. So like the cast is a mix of inexperienced young actors and actresses, and like these super experienced people, and it just really blended well. So like the dramatic, creepy score, I love that kind of score, and they synced it up really well with some camera work that is good for the possession kind of movies. There always is like the camera movements where they go in and give you that creepy slow zoom in and then starts to turn and stuff like that, and the music really synced up really well with a lot of the camera angles and things. So I wrote down The Devil Does Not Like Jokes, and again that was part of that, but the history of this location goes all the way back to the Spanish Inquisition, and I won't, because of the sake of spoilers, I won't mention more than that. But the last 20 minutes is crazy. It's so action-packed. Like, the movie really paced for me very well. Like, there was not a lot of downtime where we were getting backstory or research being done or Bibles being read and stuff like that. Like, a lot of possession movies kind of do that, where there's, like, a lot of unnecessary time spent on the backstory of the family or whatever else. Like, this gives you the backstory, very quickly, and that's all you need. Like, you brought up to speed very, very quickly, and I appreciated that. And again, the last 20 minutes was very, very fast paced and action and a little bit of gore, even. And so, yeah, the best I can say about this movie is it's very good. If you like possession movies or Exorcist movies, definitely worth checking out. I'm not saying it's going to be your favorite of them. This is going to be one of my favorite for now, anyways. But I'm still riding the high of having just seen it. And I will just say, perfecto. Perfecto. And there is obviously, even though these are based on the true manuscript or journals or whatever, they make a point to leave it very open-ended that there could definitely be a series of movies, a franchise, if you will, of the Pope's Exorcist. So yeah, let me know what you think in the comments down below. Did I say what the rating was on IMDb? 6.2. 6.2 with 1.3 thousand reviews. I think it might even go up after the Easter weekend, because why not? Why wouldn't it? So, hope you enjoyed this review. Leave a comment down below, and thank you for your time.
So have your dream. Go on and sing your song. There's nothing wrong with singing out of tune. Give people laugh and say your dream can never be. Just think of me.